Hey everyone, and welcome back to Remember This Tech. Building a DDR5 or even a DDR4 system in 2026 is pretty difficult, especially with the pricing of RAM and SSDs right now. This system behind me has 32 gig of DDR RAM. It has a quad-core CPU with 8 threads, and I threw in an NVIDIA RTX 3050 8 gig to give it a little bit of a gaming power. Today's video is taking us way back to the end of 2014, and it has the flagship CPU for that time, and it's sporting the i7-4790K, the GOAT of 2014 system CPUs. And it also features DDR3 1600 megahertz, and it's running the Asus Z97 motherboard with tons of overclocking features. Even though we're not overclocking today, it gives you some ability to do that on K CPUs. Some of you might have this system stored away in a closet, in an attic, or just not being used, and you might not think there's much value to it. But in today's day and age, prices the way they are, I wanted to take it for a spin and find out if it still has potential to play modern games in 2026. Maybe you're still rocking this system today or something like it. Comment below if you are. I'd like to hear what system setup you're running. I'm going to test about 5 games 1080p, different settings, and test out this little bit odd pairing of GPU and 2014 flagship CPU, and running on one of the last DDR3 motherboard setups and combos for that era. We'll throw in a couple synthetic benchmarks to round it out and see how it fares in 2026. So answer the question, is this system still viable in 2026? I don't know. We're going to find out on Remember This Tech today here in this video. So come on, let's go! Starting with Borderlands 4 native 1080p low, the 4790K averages around 30 FPS. It's playable, but you can definitely feel the age of the CPU here, especially in the 1% lows. This is where modern engines start to push past what quad-core era CPUs were designed for.
You can almost hear the universe applauding. And honestly, I can't blame it. Someone tell me they saw that! Pull your socks up!
Let's stop taking town!
Switching on, DLSS balanced gives us a big boost, pushing the average nearly to 50 FPS. The GPU has more headroom now, but the CPU is still the limiter in the lows. This is a great example of how DLSS can save older systems, but it can't fix everything. Red Dead Redemption 2 is still one of the best optimized open world games ever made, in some people's opinions. At 1080p medium, the i7 4790K averages over 60 FPS with really strong 1% lows. This is what a good engine design looks like, even on older hardware. And with DLSS balanced, we jump up into 70 FPS range on average. Frame pacing stays smooth, and the lows improve as well. Honestly, this is one of the best results in the entire test. Cyberpunk is where the extra threads of the 4790K really start to matter. We're averaging around 65 FPS, but you can see the CPU working hard in the 1% and 0.1% lows. It's playable, but this engine definitely wants a newer processor. When we turn on ray tracing, that actually pushes the load more onto the GPU, and surprisingly, performance improves. Now we're averaging close to 100 FPS, but you still see CPU hitching and heavy in scenes. It's impressive, but you can tell the system is really being stretched. Skyrim Special Edition 1080p Ultra Native. Skyrim is completely locked here. The engine caps out at 60 FPS and the experience is basically perfect. This is exactly the kind of game this platform was built for. Atomfall 1080p, high and medium settings and native resolution. Absolutely flies on this system. We're averaging around 100 FPS with excellent lows. This shows that when a modern game title is well optimized, the i7 4790K still has a lot to give.
You can read.
Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders is a heavy, modern engine, and you can feel it here. We're averaging around 80 FPS, but the 1% lows dip into the 40s. This is where you start to see the limits of a 2014 CPU in a 2026 game. So my final thoughts on this flagship 2014 system rocking 32 gigs of DDR3. If it was only DDR5, I'd be cashing it in. No, I'd probably keep it for one of my systems, knowing me. But anyways, some of the games still love this CPU, clearly. Some just tolerate it. And some clearly want more threads, even though this has 8 threads. But for a DDR3 platform from late 2014, I mean, come on, this system has way more playability than it has any right to be in 2026, right? It just goes to show you that a lot of people consider tech too old, or they consider it not powerful enough to run what they want to do or do what they want to do. But for most of us out there, this system is still clearly quite capable. Now, between modern AA games, open world engines, and even some ray tracing workloads that I threw in there, this test suite and benchmarks that I threw in here today, even though there are few, shows exactly where this 2014 platform still holds up and where it finally ultimately shows its age. Again, if you're rocking a system like this or this exact one, I'd love to hear about what you're running. And maybe you're not running Windows OS. And in fact, if you're running Linux, it probably runs even smoother and more capable with less operating system overhead. So thanks for taking a journey back in time with me of 2014, the GOAT setup. And thanks for watching Remember This Tech.